What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the garage. Gerald here with you. Movie reviews. Do you guys remember those? This is the first one that I've actually done here on the channel in 2026, and it's already into February. I need to get with it, but award season has taken all the content. But today we are talking about the new Sam Raimi directed horror comedy Send Help, starring Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien. It's a new film that takes a pretty simple survival setup and turns it into a nasty little battle of wills. Two work colleagues survive a plane crash and end up stranded on a deserted island together. They're forced to work together, and of course they don't exactly like each other. Survival becomes the goal, and then it becomes something else, a chess match, a bit of a power struggle, and a psychological game. I'm keeping this review spoiler free. There'll be no specifics on the gnarlier beats, no third act reveals. I'm just going to chat about the vibes, the craft, the performances, and of course whether or not I think it's worth your time. So what kind of movie is this? Send Help has the bones of a survival thriller, but it plays like a pressure cooker. It also pulls from a few familiar flavors in a way that feels intentional. You're going to have, of course, a little bit of Castaway in there, like we're trapped and time is the enemy. You've got a little Misery, which I've seen comparisons to. Someone here might snap and I have to live with them type of dread. But you've also got shades of movies like Fatal Attraction, where obsession and control can start creeping in to become the main character. But here's the key. It doesn't feel like a copy-paste smoothie of those movies. It feels like Sam Raimi picking up tools that he's used before, tightening those screws, and making it a little more precise. Because this movie is absolutely about two people in close quarters, if you will, and what happens when resentment has nowhere to go. The tone shifts in this movie. This is where a lot of films will fall apart. Tone shifts can move a movie into mush. One minute you're scared, the next they're doing a bit, and suddenly none of it feels real. But Send Help threads that needle. The comedy doesn't step on the tension, it releases pressure at the right time, and then it drops you right back into the danger zone. The heartfelt moments don't feel like the movie begging you to take it seriously. They feel like the only honest response to being stuck in hell with the one person that you can't really stand. It also has this topical, timely undercurrent running through the whole runtime. The story's power dynamic is doing more than just fueling this conflict. It's commenting on who gets credit, who gets rewarded, and who gets left holding the bag after doing the actual work. That theme is simple, perhaps. You've seen versions of it before. The man cashes the check for a race that the woman has been running. So why does it hit here? Because the movie doesn't lecture it. It lets the characters embody it, and that's always stronger. The movie lives or dies on the leads. The good news is you cannot ask for a better pairing. Rachel McAdams as Linda is one of those performances that rides the edge. She's teetering near lunacy, and you believe it. Yet she keeps just enough tenderness in the frame that you never fully write her off as a ticking time bomb. There's also awkwardness to her character. The good kind, human awkwardness, like normality. It's the kind that makes the character feel like a person instead of a type. But then there's Dylan O'Brien as Bradley, and he is a stereotype on paper. He's the frat guy, alpha male archetype who fell into wealth because of family history, the entitlement, the smugness, the casual selfishness. If you can picture a guy without trying, that's him. But here's the impressive part. O'Brien plays him so well that you genuinely hate him for most of this movie. Like, really hate him. The kind where you start negotiating with the screen, like, please let him face some consequences here. But then Raimi pulls a classic move and turns it on a dime. And suddenly you'll feel bad for Bradley. The pivot takes skill from both the director and the actor. If either one misses that timing, it feels cheap, but here it lands. The two main characters are trading places constantly, hero to villain, victim to monster. It's a seesaw for most of the runtime, and it keeps you off balance in a way that's actually exciting. You're constantly recalibrating. Who do I trust? Who's telling the truth? Who's playing a long game here? And shifting to the director, obviously a legend, you could feel Sam Raimi's fingerprints all over this thing. There's visceral horror comedy, traditional but in the best way, built on timing, camera language, physicality, and gross out tactics that don't apologize for themselves. And yes, it gets fucking gross. There's blood, of course, but that's nothing. You're also going to get the extra credit nastiness, things like vomit and some truly foul animal phlegm business that I won't describe further. But trust me, it's gnarly. In a good way. Raimi leans into body horror and the kind of gross out factor that makes a theater react out loud. People squirm in their seats, they laugh, they cover their face and peek through their fingers like they're 12 years old again. Send Help understands the communal thrill of it. It also plays like some of the best home invasion films. Even though the setting is vastly different on an island versus an enclosed space, but it brings that same energy and feeling of being cornered, the same anxiety about space and control. It's about territory and safety and who really has the leverage. Let's talk about the themes a little bit, or what the film might be trying to say. Underneath the carnage and the comedy, Send Help is running a pretty sharp argument about power dynamics, about who gets to rewrite the story later, and how charm can function like a weapon, and resentment building interest day after day until it cashes out. And again, the broad idea isn't brand new. The difference is how cleanly it's dramatized here through these two characters. It's messy, it's petty, it's human and ugly, and it's often funny because sometimes the truth is funny in a bleak way. This movie understands that survival doesn't automatically make you noble. Survival can make you strategic, of course, but can also make you honest and often cruel. Raimi tells it with the kind of filmmaking that feels like a throwback to when genre directors weren't afraid to be bold. I'm a sucker for that. I love craft that you can feel, movie with its own fingerprints and DNA. Alright, when it comes to negatives, there are a couple, but literally only a couple. Two main things held this back from being a flat out 10 out of 10 for me. Firstly, I can't really talk about in depth without spoiling it, but I'll just say there's a few backstory related threads that we get introduced to, and then they don't pay off. Some of it feels like it was meant to matter more. Either it got trimmed in the final edit, or the script decided it didn't really need to answer these certain questions about the character development. And I'm fine with ambiguity when it feels intentional, but here there were a couple moments that land closer to, wait, what happened to that thing that they mentioned? Versus like, ooh, fun mystery. Second negative for me is the CGI overall, but specifically the CGI blood. I hate it. People that have seen my horror reviews know that. A lot of people won't even care, but every time I clock it. There are moments where it really doesn't feel warranted either. Practical would have been stronger, especially for Sam Raimi movie where you're already leaning into that tactile, gross out vibe. When the blood turns digital, it slightly breaks the spell for me. We also get a pretty awesome scene involving a wild boar and Rachel McAdams, and it's pretty choppy and definitely noticeable. Again, it's not a deal breaker, but in a film that had quite a few really good VFX, like the plane crash, for example, in the first act, it does stand out to somebody that's a horror hound like myself. But those are just nitpicks. Final verdict, Send Help is one of those movies where the experience matters. See it with a crowd if you can, even if that's at home and you gather some friends together. The laughs will hit harder, the gross out will hit nastier, and the tension will feel like it's bouncing all around the room. The tone shifts are confident here. The topical angle lands without being preachy. And the Rachel McAdams, Dylan O'Brien duo is legitimately excellent. They carry the movie and then they sharpen it into something memorable. Even with a couple dangling threads like the CGI I mentioned, I still walked out with a big smile on my face and I was slightly disturbed. That's exactly what I want as a horror fan. On Send Help, the final score out of 10 for me is going to be an 8. I definitely recommend this film. If you've seen it, let me know where you landed. Are you team Linda or are you team Bradley? Are you team both of y'all need therapy and some kind of boat to come take you somewhere? Thank you guys so much for tuning into this movie review. Don't forget about channel memberships. You can click join down below, read all about that. For as little as a couple bucks a month, you can help me keep the machine rolling out here. And please subscribe. Hopefully I'll do more movie reviews. Jesus, it took me forever. But I'll be back soon in the garage.